Is Williams a realistic option? Said Joseph Purvis. Thank you, Joseph. I think so. But I can't lie to you, Joseph. I think if he had the option, Barcelona would probably be his number one club to go to. But do they have the money? That's the real question here. Liverpool certainly have the money that we could get Nico Williams signed up. Now, there's been a couple of reports in Spain to suggest we're just about to do that. We don't have any confirmation of that from the English side or the English media side, but let's wait and see what happens. Nico's wages are ridiculous, said Raid. They are very, very high, right? No problem with that, mate. But we can afford them. We can afford them because we've just signed off on... let me see, 360 to 370,000 pound a week has just been freed up by Adrian, Thiago and Joel Matip leaving the club. More than enough to pay Nico Williams' wages without the club having to dip back into the coffers. Now, the transfer fee, of course, you have to pay that. But again, you know, the money's there. So don't let that fool you. Whether you think Nico Williams deserves 300 grand a week or not, of course, that's a very different conversation. But from an accounting perspective for the club, it's not all that fussed. You know, like you look at the situation, whatever it is, it's going to be about 20, what, let's say he's on 300 grand a week, which is what, 20 grand, 15 million quid a year. On top of that, the 9 million quid amortised transfer fee for a 5-year contract. So that's 24 million quid a year Nico Williams will cost the football club. Now, if you listen to Rami Abbasisa, Mohamed Salah's making £1 million quid a week, all in. So, even on Mo's basic wage, you know, Mo earns more than Nico Williams. And he should. Of course he should. But my point here is, one of them's 21 years of age with the future in front of him. And the other has given us incredible service, but is on the decline. It's a no-brainer for me. If Williams comes in on that wage, I think it could cause problems within the squad and others thinking they've been loyal and not asked for that kind of money. But there's a lot of hypotheticals there, Glenn. So how do you know what anybody else has asked for? Off the top of my head, mate, honestly. And the next thing that I'm probably going to get from people is the club will look at Salah's situation, Virgil's situation and Trent's situation and be worried that if they give Nico Williams the 300 grand a week he wants, that those players are going to ask for the sun, moon and stars with their transfer or with their contract extensions. Well, that's tough shit. That's tough shit for us because we shit the bed and we let them get to this point. So where was the cleverness there? How do you let Trent go off to the Euros without a new deal? How do you let him now be inside the last 12 months of his contract in the prime of his career? That's not clever. It isn't. Whatever way you want to dress it up, that's the height of stupidity. If Liverpool were to sell Salah in the summer, who would you sign to replace him? Or would you roll with the attackers we already have? I'd sign Nico Williams. Straightforward. And then if we sold Diaz, I'd look to sign Gordon. And that's us done for the future. Right now, for me, Cody Gakpo deserves the nod on the left side of our attack based off what I'm seeing from at the Euros. I'm sure you probably agree. Lucho's having a good competition as well with Colombia. But for me, I think Gakpo is the one to go with on the left. On the right, if Salah stays, he starts the season on the right-hand side. If he doesn't stay, then I'd like Nico Williams brought in. I know Williams operates on the left side for Bilbao, but again, we don't have to have inverted wingers. We can move people around. Kvaratskhelia is another one that wants out of Napoli. Higher transfer fee, but probably less wages. Nico Williams all day long. What a wonderful player, said Alex Macklin. Dem Blocks, thank you, mate. Appreciate your kind words. Look, Nico Williams should be a no-brainer. It's between us and Barca. Barca don't have the money. We could get this wrapped up quickly if we wanted to. I know he's away at the Euros, but we trigger the release clause, or at least our indication of triggering the release clause to Bilbao, and then you know roughly what type of wages the kid's asking for. It is a slippery slope, but we have to compete. And let's look at what happened with Saka. Similar age profile. Again, you could argue about how far Saka had gone in the game at that point. Certainly shown himself to be a tremendous talent. And Arsenal paid what it took. Arsenal paid the money to get Saka to sign a new deal and stay at Arsenal. And that new deal is about what Nico Williams is asking for. So unfortunately, sometimes you just have to fucking pay it. And this is one of them situations where I think the transfer fee negates some of the wages. So we should pay it. Do you notice that every time we have these discussions and we talk about the wage structure, or we're always looking at it as if spending money's a dirty word, and that everything that FSG say is gospel, and that everything that they think of doing is absolutely the right way of doing it, and there's no room for other conversation or other debates. They're cheap. Football's moving on. If you're willing to give Thiago £200,000 a week, why can we not give a talented 21-year-old with the world at his feet a nice wage? And you're secure then for the next 5, 6, 7, 8 years. The kid is only 21 and he's already in the semi-finals of the Euros, doing really well. Pay him and bring him in.